Last Seen Alive is a high-concept mystery thriller starring Gerard Butler. But he's got to knock it off with all these knockoffs. Here's my review of Last Seen Alive. Unfortunately, there's virtually no distribution or promotion for this film. It was released in the Netherlands and in Australia on May 12th and has only made $1 million at the international box office. It was supposed to receive a wide release this past weekend, but didn't. This film would have benefited going straight to streaming because it's the perfect Sunday afternoon matinee thriller. Why are Gerard Butler's movies struggling? He's a bona fide action hero. He's really good at this anti-hero persona. And his last few movies have been quite good. I think I like all of his films, not so much his romantic comedy era. No. But his action films are very good, but they also, many of them, suffer from closely resembling other nostalgic classics. For instance, Cop Shop was a fantastic action thriller, one of my best from last year, but it was in the vein of Assault on Precinct 13. That was already a remake. Den of Thieves was almost a carbon copy of Heat, which most cinephiles hold in high regard. Hunter Killer was like Hunt for Red October, which is the better movie. Greenland was like The Day After Tomorrow. And Last Seen Alive, this film, is very reminiscent of 1997's Breakdown. What's going on? I don't get it. This film stars Gerard Butler, Jamie Alexander, and Russell Hornsby. By the way, Russell Hornsby is an amazing thespian. If you ever see his face in a trailer, buy a ticket or click play. He's going to give you a stellar performance. So Gerard Butler plays a real estate developer named Will Spann who's trying to save his marriage, but his wife Lisa is considering divorcing him and just needs a little space to think things over and see what her next steps are. So Will is driving her to her parents' house where she'll stay for the next couple of weeks to think about what she wants to do next. 15 minutes from their destination, they stop for gas where Lisa is abducted in plain sight. Will searches the gas station high and low, but there's no sign of Lisa. He contacts Detective Peterson, played by Russell Hornsby, who suspects foul play because it's always the husband. And he interrogates Will back at the station, refuting that Will's hands are clean. He suspects that Will could have done this. Will has to rescue his wife in hopes that there is still time to rescue his marriage. Will goes on the hunt himself to find the culprit responsible for snatching his wife because the police are taking a long time with details and trails. The plot is easy to follow and the suspect isn't all that obvious, but if you're watching closely, you can easily guess who the bad guy is. The characters all play their conventional roles too. The vengeful hero plays to his archetype, the detective plays to his type, and the bad guy plays to his. And there aren't many action sequences in this film. The action was economized down to a few choreographed stunts that were mostly hand-to-hand combat, sprinting through the woods, and a really big explosion during the finale. There are more mystery beats than action, and the bad guy was revealed way too early. We know in the very first scene who's guilty. We know who the culprit is in the very first scene. so the rest of the story unfolds to explain why. The story tries to throw you off with a possible Gone Girl scenario, but it's debunked within the next few scenes. The use of backstory was unnecessary too. No, I won't say unnecessary, but I think it was overused here. Lisa and Will reveal in the car on the way to her parents that there is tension in their marriage. There's tension between them. They act this out. And he stops for gas to prolong time with her. Going back to see how they got to this point, I find is unnecessary in a way. The general audience already knows what a failed marriage or troubled marriage looks like on screen. But these flashbacks are used to give Jamie Alexander more scenes, because without these flashbacks, she's hardly in the film. So in that way, I understand why flashbacks were necessary, but we didn't need to know how they got to this point. Again, the performances were great. Everyone was convincing and pulled their own weight, but they played to type. The problem was the concept. Perhaps the distress due role reversal might have been a better way to refresh this nostalgic concept. We've already seen Kurt Russell shake down a whole city searching for Kathleen Quinlan while J.T. Walsh got in his way. The damsel in distress plot is oversaturated. If Lisa were the protagonist who had to outsmart all these bad guys to capture her husband, that might have been more entertaining. Double Jeopardy is a great example of this concept. Last Seen Alive is not a bad movie. It's just nostalgic and one that you've seen plenty, 1,000 times before. On a grading scale, I give Last Seen Alive a C. Thank you so much if you stuck around this long. I certainly appreciate you. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And until next time, peace.